Well, good evening. It's going on 7. I got Momo begging me for the bacon grease, so I guess I better do that while I'm doing this. I almost forgot. Yes, get you some pizza. No, I didn't even go to sleep till closer to like noon. Had the alarm set for like 4:30, and instead of waking up at 4:30 with the alarm, I ended up waking up at like 3 o'clock. Just a lot of stress and bullshit. It's just really what it is. Well, give this to the munchkins. There you go, Momo. There you go, pull it up. But, no, I got up, sat, spoke to the folks, check on my mom and all that stuff. They were going ahead taking her up. Dad was going ahead taking her up to get everything checked. She had some bruising and all that stuff, but that's what she got, reaching into the middle of a dogfight trying to stop it, and that's just, yeah, and it's not a good thing. It doesn't mean that's okay. It wasn't a good thing. We were able to get the collar things ordered. As a first step deterrent to retrain primarily the 2 dogs that have been involved with all this, mostly, and then sort of do the same with the others. With them, though, they'll probably have a little less sensitive setting because they aren't the culprits of starting these fucking dogfights. Nana's getting cremated, just like Masha was and all that stuff. I gotta call and check with the folks here in a little bit. Double check on Mom, make sure she's doing alright. I know they got it all cleaned up and everything. Dad had it cleaned up and everything. It was looking overall it was looking alright, but it had some bruising, and they just decided to go ahead and take her and get checked, which is a good thing. Yeah, I had my worries about it, but just shit happens. I can't stop it at this point. You know, once the ball starts rolling downhill, you know, there's only so much you can do at that point. You can change its direction, basically. And sometimes when there gets to be too much, there's not much you can do to stop it. No, just something that I said earlier during this morning's vid that I did with very limited, no sleep, with all that anxiety, just everything going on. I hit my point, I hit my breaking point a while ago, but I also realized just with the amount of shit I've had to deal with, especially the last few years, the amount of shit that's still going on, that had been going on behind my back, even when she was trying to fuck with my head and basically play me again, manipulate me again. I realized just kind of through everything, I'm still here, I'm still doing alright, and once this place sells, I already know I'm going to have a better start than what I've had ever really before. I lost a lot at this point between mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health to pets, relationships with my kids, relationships with other family members and friends, and all that shit due to this one person shit talking. Like, I lost a lot trying to make somebody that meant everything to me happy. And I tried to do things in a teamwork way because I didn't want to keep her from her dreams in life, but I also didn't realize what her dreams obviously involved. It was, at its base, gold digging. I'll just put it that way. to get approval from other people, and that's just... It's okay if you want to work hard to become rich. It's how you do it to get rich. And if you're doing it at other people's expense to get there, then I can't really respect that. I do love that woman and I forgive her. Yet I'm moving on. Like, all this stuff, like this morning, my dog last night and everything, that was just kind of like, you know what? I'm done. This mess that we're left with and how much it's cost us at this point. I'm sorry, if your life is worth less than lint from a pair of jeans with ink on it, considering, you know, the places that make your money has a contract with companies like Levi's to get the jean lint, which is then used in combination of some of the other materials used to make your money and then put ink on it. Somehow that's more valuable than you are. And then digital currency, yeah, cool, there's a place for it, but that's something that you can lose faster than you can a dollar bill, really. I mean, some people are like, how's that? I go spend $1, get a candy bar, and I lost it. Well, you could take that dollar, put it in your drawer, and as long as it's there and nobody's going in there and getting it, you ain't losing it. That digital currency or that NFT or whatever, something happens, you know. We're in a digital age where people are not, like, people are getting smarter and smarter, especially around computers. And that's the one thing I respect about a lot of these younger folks when it comes down to, like, with their programming knowledge and all that shit and their hacking knowledge. I have a lot of respect for them, actually. You know, there's a lot out there who's using this knowledge for wrong reasons or whatever. I still have respect that they have that ability in essence. And so people don't realize, even with the digital age coming, you have to understand that there's going to be digital piracy still going on beyond movies and music. And there are going to be people who are still going to be able to figure out a way to either zap your entire digital account or straight up empty it. And the fact that it'll be to a degree centrally affected in some way or another by one government or another or multiples. Yeah, you got to remember, those people are going to have just as much control over your digital account as they do your bank account or your PayPal account or your Cash App, all that shit. I don't understand putting value in people beneath material things. It's just, in short. I'm still processing my dog. I'm still processing all this shit. Yet I know that, like, I repeat myself, and I don't mean to. Part of it is I'm still tired. I've only had like 3 hours of sleep. I've been up for a few hours, obviously, at this point. What's the point? If these people want to continue to act the way they do at the ages they are, that's on them. I don't have to answer to anybody else for acting maliciously or treating people like shit to get what I want. And I also don't feel the need to go and try and set somebody up for failure intentionally to cost them everything so I could feel better. I don't really believe in revenge as much as some things, like even some of these vids, some people might go, well, that's revenge. No. It's called telling the truth and exposing somebody who's spent a lot of time lying about me. I had my life in a lot of ways destroyed. Doesn't mean it ended. No. I can still pick this up and I can still rebuild. I've had to do this before. From living in tents to makeshift shacks to sheds to getting up into was it like public housing or something like that? I don't know if that's like a homeless shelter type thing or what, but no, I got into housing, and then from there a regular apartment, and then from there, yeah, it just progressed from there, and all. It's been steps. It's been a long time for me. I'm not like my oldest brother. if I was half the nerd he was growing up, considering a lot of my shit was his. By the time I got to high school, I was basically expected to make up for the mistakes my one brother did while being expected to be just like my oldest brother. And my brother's a successful guy. I mean, he worked hard for what he got and he earned it. Downside is it's also cost him things in other areas doing that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think too here at the same time. And I tend to lose myself a bit. But a lot of people, they like my brother, they earned it and they did it quick. If I was, like I was saying, if I was even half like my brother, I wouldn't be necessarily in this situation. It would have been a little different, but I would still end up disabled from my NF2. That's the one thing that would have never changed. I could have changed all the choices I wanted in life. Where I didn't do some of the stupid shit that I did growing up, or anything like that. The two things that would have never been different is the fact that I was born with NF2 and Asperger's syndrome. That would have never changed. What would have possibly changed in a multi-theory aspect of things is we would have learned sooner. I would have been able to learn how to cope and deal with the things that I had to deal with all those years, not understanding what the fuck was going on with my brain. I wouldn't have had to go all those years. And then getting all these drugs shoved down my throat all the way up until high school when I just stopped taking them, the prescriptions and stuff. They were fucking my head up. They were making things really bad for me. And then the street drugs didn't help any. That was, especially with the dope and all that stuff. I was in that for 3-4 years and I got out of it real fast. It's because I can't say necessarily real fast. 1 year is not even real fast. But I watched a lot of bad shit happen to me around people, around these other people that I was doing this stuff with. A lot of really bad stuff. And so I learned from the things that they were doing. I didn't get really in a lot of trouble. I didn't really get in any trouble while on that because I still, even though I was doing something stupid with that, as is with that addiction, I wasn't intentionally out trying to go out and rob people, do fucked up things to feed that addiction. That goes along with anybody else with their addictions. When you do really fucked up things to feed your addiction, that leads you to have to harm your own family or your own relationship the people you're with. Even if in the process of it, it's also to try and get approval of other people that really are not in that relationship and don't have to deal with what the repercussions of all that bullshit. I'm gonna miss them. I love them very much, and I'm gonna miss them every day. 3/4 of my life I loved that woman, and the last third of it, quarter of it, I gave it everything I got, while she proceeded to break me down and give everything she got to other people. And so, and then learning basically too late that I was being used. And not just basically, like I said, I wouldn't quite put it that way. Oh, so you were using me then this whole time to get where you're at right now. So, yeah. The next chapter in my life isn't necessarily going to get any easier, but I know it's going to get better. I'll be torn in a position where they're concerned on whether to allow them near me again to a certain extent. Our child is a grown-ass adult now, and is a stepdad himself, working hard to provide for his family. Regardless of what our relation is, I'm proud of him for doing that. Yet her and I have no more ties. Our child is a grown-ass adult, and it's on to him on deciding whether or not he wants to make amends now, because he already knew that was there, and the downside for him is the amount of damages he took part in doing and all this shit, and the amount of threats and things that he pulled. a lot of those doors were closed to him. So he ever decided one day that I think I need to do the right thing and try to make amends with my dad, he's going to have to genuinely work for it. Just like I would have to if I fucked my family over like that or hurt my family that way. What doesn't mean my parents would love me any less, no. But I would have to put the effort in to correct the shit that I did wrong. I've had to do that plenty over the years growing up as a kid. Even, like I said, I even had to take responsibility for shit my brother did. Not my oldest, but my older brother. The one that I dealt with, yeah. But I don't know, just like I said, something I said earlier like clicked in my head and made me realize like, no. I haven't lost my faith in this. And realizing the amount of shit that I've had to go through, and the fact that there's been so much that I can't even, I could not write this in a single book. I don't believe I could. I couldn't even put this in a single vid, whether it's an hour long, 2 hour long. I could not do it. And that there being that much shit, and I'm still here. I'm still capable of loving people. I'm still capable of being able to look to a better, when it comes down to it, a better future at this point. I'm only stuck here for a little while. There's things going on with the house, with the sale of the house and all this shit that I'm not necessarily going to quite talk about, especially when it gets closer to certain things. All I know is that I was given an opportunity to be able to try and turn my life around with her included in this journey, and she decided to piss it off to go chase after other men at my expense and to do the things that she did to me the last few years, especially the last 4 or 5 years. The idea of this whole thing was a scam, basically. She had choice. She had a choice literally up until the day we were supposed to get married. I bought those rings. When I bought those rings, in my head and heart, it was going to be I'm going to marry the person who's going to put an effort into that commitment. And I gave her every opportunity up until that. And then when she continued to pull her shit and kept doing her shit, because I knew she was doing it, that's why I wasn't saying I do. I'm not marrying somebody who's going to continue to be unfaithful, lie, and manipulate me. And then find out that was the goal, was to marry me and pull some shit like she did a couple years ago to get me locked somewhere off of some bullshit that she gaslit into so that she could then turn around and empty me out. Whether it's the drugs talking or not on her part, I hope she gets some help. I don't wish this on her. I don't wish this on anybody else. Or any other flying monkeys or anybody other person's flying monkeys that may be popping on here watching all that stuff. I don't wish this on anybody. All I do really wish is that y'all fucking grow up. This is not how you treat other human beings. And last I checked, when people are talking shit, you better see that they have something genuinely to back it up, other than like maybe a couple pictures. As in, I can go take a picture of a couple things, go, oh, hey, so-and-so did this. Or whatever. No, I've got them verbally admitting to lying to everyone. I've got them verbally admitting they lied to throw me in jail more than once. I got them realizing, admitting that they lied to a court system when they were being investigated in the past, like they are being right now. The last I understand, yeah. I would never do to her what was done to me by her. And no matter who I may end up with next, which I can thank her for helping me filter out what I want in life when it comes to a person, like my, partner in crime, my significant other, who knows, possibly somebody I end up marrying, because you know what, I got an engagement and a wedding ring that I can put on somebody's fucking finger. That I invested into to invest into someone that's going to be just as committed as I am. It could have been her. It could have been anybody. She had the chance. But in her head, she's trying to dig deeper for something more valuable. And I think she's about, if she hasn't already, she's about to shoot herself in the foot in this process. And it's not worth doing this type of shit to someone. If you've been doing it for a long time or to more than one people, then just like my brother, even though I love him and forgive him for what he did to me and others, he still had to be held accountable for his actions. That's how I feel about anybody else. You're going to do something with intent to do harm to somebody that didn't actually deserve it in any way, shape, or form. And you're going to find ways to justify your abuse on them to get other people to basically light their torches and grab their pitchforks to follow along. You sort of need to deal with your karma. Just like I'm having to deal with my karma. And some of these others are. Like some, rumor-wise, because I can only take so much with a grain of salt from that person, some getting fired from their jobs because they weren't necessarily getting along with the boss or some shit. When, I got a feeling they're either being shady or something. I don't want anything bad to happen to any of these people or her that has been involved with the situation. Anybody that even she's been involved with, I don't want to wish, and if you're watching, I don't wish anything bad on you. Because I know she lied to you too, just like she did to me. But what she did with you, she used at my expense to manipulate you into that shit, that whatever. At my expense, because she admitted it. She lied to her friends. She lied to her family at my expense to justify her cheating. So that she didn't have to feel that guilt, even though there's nothing she could do but feel that guilt. And she's done this a lot. And I can tell you right now, if she can do this to somebody that she's known and loved, by her words, since we were 14, 15 years old, what do you think she's going to do to the next person that she's only known for like 3-4 months? A year? Hell, the last 5 years. She can do this to somebody that she's known for literally 28, 29 years. What do you think she's going to do to you? If she can sit there and justify spanking her children with certain things and going, oh, but it wasn't that hard. What do you think she's going to do with you? She's got some lessons to learn on her own in this situation. She's got some bad karma going on. Really bad fucking karma. And I'd rather stay away. Yeah, I'll check on her every now and then. Because as my child's mother, I do love her. I don't want anything bad to happen to her. But I think she's going to be... Yeah, I can't help it. They're going to be facing some shit. Whether they like it or not. It's if they haven't already begun. I mean, as is with... The last I understood that knew, CPS and employer investigating her for lying to everyone, including them. Y'all better catch a clue. The county and the state wouldn't do that type of shit if they were not given enough of anything to prove her that she's been doing some really fucked up shit. Whether she gets to keep what's going on or not, because, yeah, this is supposed to be done until December, and in that process, she's supposed to be getting help and all that shit, which she's getting, but I'm also questioning the type of help she's getting from the therapist, because to some degree, I feel like even her therapist is sort of enabling some of her behaviors, because even her therapist probably more than likely does not know exactly the whole 100% truth, but only knows whatever 50% of whatever portion of that truth may be in that pie. However direction you want to cut the pie, 50-50, from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 6 to 12 o'clock, fucking 2 to 8 o'clock. However it gets cut and whatever is within that pie, that slice of pie. It's how she is with everybody. And I had to learn this the hard way. I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. I fell in love with the mask, and I'm having to reevaluate my entire reality. I mean, once the home's sold and everything like that, and I go to move, yeah, I'm making sure I'm getting right back into therapy and getting some more help. I was going through it all the way up until about April, May of this year. And to have all this shit continue, I mean, it was May 29th that she told me that she was going to go see a migraine doctor, only to find out that she was going to see somebody else to play doctor. So, as soon as I start doing better and things start getting better, she pulls some shit. The problem with it, though, is she was already pulling it long before getting to that point. It's when it gets to that point, that's when that narcissistic behavior comes in. Oh, things are going good. Whoop, there goes the rug again. No, you better get back down. I've lost a lot of shit because of her, and regardless, I still love her. Hope things get better for her, and I hope she genuinely finds what she's looking for and gets what she deserves. Just like the rest of the people involved. I hope you all find what you get. I hope you all find what you're looking for to make you happy, and you get what you deserve. I don't want to see any bad happen to anybody. I don't want to see what happened to me be done to any of you or her, whether I know you or not. Living situation we figured out quick enough. I'll update like I do, but as I get closer to certain things happening and all that, there's going to be updates, but you're not going to get everything. I might end up doing like what I've been doing, like with some of these, where I end up doing 3 or 4 fucking vids. Excuse me. Go to upload them, rewatch them and all that, and then go, nope, I need to redo it. It's only a matter of time for me. That's all I know. It's only a matter of time before things can get better. And it's simply just sitting on this home and waiting for this to go through, and knowing that we've already had, speaking with the realtor, between 2 and 3 dozen buyers for this place. And that was when the home was still priced at the original price. And it was that one situation. And the idea that I was, lock things in to cover that issue, to where people are getting more land for the same price. I don't expect much buying during the holiday season. I just don't. That's why a lot of times you'll see that like buying rates and all that for interest on go down just a little bit over winter. Prices will drop down a little bit over winter so that they can get people to buy. Get the few buyers that are still out there. Because most people are spending most of their time buying gifts and traveling and shit like that for the holidays for family and stuff. So, and plus, it's kind of hard to get out and see certain houses if they're under 2-3 feet of snow. Yet, it still won't stop some from buying. My neighbors bought their house in the middle of winter. But, no, once the beginning of the year comes around, then interest rates will start going back up. Home values are going to start going back up again. And knowing that there's at least been a couple dozen, at minimum, buyers for the home, I'm not thinking that, we're going to have a dozen people who are going to go into a bid war, but there's going to at least be, most likely, especially if some of them are still looking, we're probably going to at least still have 2 or 3 people. That's what it was when I got this place. There was myself and another buyer that started going to a bid war, and I went ahead and went straight above them. And all that, and I went just straight for an even number, basically. So it wasn't this back and forth. And I made one counter offer, and it wasn't a whole bunch more than what. It wasn't much more than what the house was worth, or was marketed at. But it's like, we needed a home. We weren't going to be able to keep our apartment. Our lease was almost up that year, so it was like everything was in a rush. We didn't really have much choice. But this time around, I know at least there's more options available after this place is sold. This will go a little faster. And Lord knows it ain't going to take it 10 years to sell. Especially, you know, like I said, we've already been getting hits on buyers. It's just, yeah. I did put a halt on the sell for a moment, like literally just for the moment, to make sure Win-Win Homes is completely cut out of the picture. And all that, so yeah. Overall, it's just gonna get better. I'm gonna still have my moments. I'm still on that fucking roller coaster. It's just as I said, something kind of clicked in my head from what I said this morning, and kind of realized that is even with these losses that are going on, even with my pets, and it hurts a lot having to deal with this. I know there's, with my dogs even now, there's still the ability that things are still gonna, we still have a better chance, a better start for a better home, and I actually have the ability to be able to, well, go from being debt free to having some, just, you know, a minimal home mortgage and all that, because I'm not out looking for, like, I am humble. I'm not looking out for $500,000 or even $250,000 homes. I'm looking for something that's definitely nice and better than this condition, that has some property to it. Like, I'd like to keep that, personally, that acre or more type size of land, and preferably smaller home. But what I've been finding over there, I've been finding stuff that's about the same size and bigger, with bigger land for basically the same price I'm selling my house right here. Well, no, almost $100,000 less than what I'm selling my house here. And obviously, no, I don't get to keep all that money, because the house gets sold after everything that's left and all that, from paying off the house and then paying off any bills that I have, because to me that's a priority first. It'll leave me with just enough to be able to get another home and do all that stuff like I need to. And by cutting Win-Win Home out, like speaking with my folks, no, because they're and all my father, especially this morning and last night with everything that's gone on. By cutting Win-Win Homes out, it's giving me the ability that I can, like I said before in the past, that I'll be able to. I'm just gonna take some of the money that is made from this home being sold to just get the floors redone in their home. That's what they need done. The kitchen, dining, bathroom, living room, hallway, that all definitely needs redone. And so, you know, I just told them, I was like, you know, I'll just, the way I can pay you guys back, and I know you need this done, is I can just pay for this to get dealt with. It's not like, you know, it's not like they haven't helped me before. I love my parents, and like, I don't know how many times I say it almost every video. I love my parents regardless of what's gone on in the past and in my childhood. I hold them responsible for the things that they themselves are responsible for. Whereas for myself, when it comes to my own stupid decisions, that's on me. And that's the same with anybody else around me, and any shitty influences, you know, that's on them. It's on me for allowing it. It's on me for going, no, that's not right. You know, so yeah, just like it is for the next person. You're going to allow your friends and family to influence you to do fucked up things. So, no, I'm going to chill for a bit before I get some dishes and all that done. It's cool enough. It's Put it on this one to cool off a little more. That one's cool. Let the dogs clean the pans real quick. That one's got the bacon grease, and then I can get some dishes done, and it's not like I have a bunch of dishes. So, hope everybody has a good night. You guys stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.